Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our channel, Digital Future AI School. Before we jump in, if you're getting value from what we do here, please take just a second to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. It makes a huge difference. All right, this is episode 20, and today we are diving deep into chapter 19 of the fantastic book, Coaching Website Development by Zahir Ahmed Mir. So let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at the world of web development and just felt completely lost? I mean, you see this endless ocean of languages, frameworks, and tools, and you're just standing there thinking, where on earth do I even begin? It can be totally overwhelming. Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We are going to turn that daunting mountain into a clear, manageable roadmap. So let's get started. And we're going to start right here with this incredibly powerful idea. I really want you to let this one sink in, because honestly, it's the key to not just surviving, but actually thriving in this field. So many of us get trapped in this mindset that there's some kind of imaginary finish line, a point where we'll finally know everything. But that's just a myth. The best developers, the ones who build incredible things and have these long, fulfilling careers, they understand that this is a constant journey. It's all about the process, not some final prize. Thinking this way just frees you from all that pressure of being perfect. It reframes your mistakes. They're not failures anymore, they're just data points on your journey. It's probably the ultimate cure for imposter syndrome, because if everyone is just moving in a direction, then hey, we're all just fellow travelers on the same path. So just take a breath. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, now let's talk about the single biggest misconception that holds aspiring developers back. We're sort of conditioned to believe that our progress is measured by how many tools we can list on a resume, right? We see a new JavaScript framework, a new database, some new AI assistant, and we feel this immediate pressure to go and learn it. This is what you could call the tool trap, and it just leads to burnout. The real goal here isn't to collect a giant library of shiny new objects. The real goal is to fundamentally change how you think. It's about making a shift from being a consumer of tutorials to becoming a producer of solutions. It's all about building a mindset of curiosity, resilience, and systematic problem solving. Believe me, the tools will change, I can promise you that. But that mindset, that's forever. So when we use this phrase, scaling your skills, what are we actually talking about? Well, it's this whole holistic process. It means a steady, gradual growth across the entire board, in your knowledge, in your confidence, your technical ability, and your problem-solving skills. Let's break that down for a sec. Growth in knowledge is about understanding the what and, more importantly, the why behind the code. Growth in confidence is that inner belief that you can figure things out, even when you're totally stuck. Growth in technical ability is the hands-on skill of actually writing the code and using the tools effectively. And growth in problem-solving, that's the real art. It's taking a big, messy challenge and breaking it down into small, manageable steps. It's about all of these things growing together, which is what turns you into a capable, well-rounded professional. This insight from the book just captures that mindset shift perfectly. Your ultimate superpower as a developer isn't what you already know. It's your ability to adapt and learn whatever comes next. Technology moves at an unbelievable pace. The hot framework of today could literally be a footnote tomorrow. So if your identity is all tied up in knowing one specific tool, you're basically building your house on sand. But if your identity is tied to being a great learner, you are future-proof. Being a great learner means you're not afraid to say, I don't know. It means you know how to read documentation, how to ask smart questions, and how to just experiment and figure things out. So the crucial takeaway here is this: focus on becoming a master learner. That is the one skill that will never, ever become obsolete. All right, so we've established the mindset. We know our goal is to become a master learner, not a master of a million different tools. But hey, philosophy only gets you so far, right? How do we actually do it? How do we structure this whole journey? You wouldn't try to drive across the country without a GPS, would you? You need a map. And the fantastic news is there is a map for this journey. The entire process of becoming a developer can be broken down into a super clear 3-stage growth path that'll take you from being a total beginner all the way to a seasoned pro. It gives you structure, milestones, and clarity. So let's walk through it together. And here it is, the big picture: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Just seeing it laid out like this makes the whole thing feel so much more achievable, doesn't it? Each one of these stages has a very distinct focus, a different set of tools, and a whole new level of challenge. The beginner stage is all about exploring and building that foundational confidence. The intermediate stage, that's about discipline and becoming reliable. And the advanced stage is all about architecture and building for scale. Knowing which stage you're in helps you focus on the right things and not get distracted by skills or tools that are like 2 stages ahead of where you are right now. This is your roadmap. Okay, let's dive into stage one, the beginner. The entire focus here is on just two things: understanding the core concepts and, just as importantly, building your confidence. The biggest enemy at this stage is friction. If things are too hard, you're just going to quit. And that's exactly why the tools here are so important. We're not even touching complex code yet. We're using tools like Canva to get a feel for visual hierarchy and design. We're using AI-powered site builders like Framer AI or Wix AI to understand website structure, headers, footers, sections, without getting bogged down in all the syntax. We're using Jotform to understand how to capture user input with forms. These tools are specifically designed to give you quick wins. They prove to you very early on that you can build functional things. You're building momentum, and that's everything. All right, now let's move on to stage two and see how things evolve. This is the intermediate level, and the focus shifts dramatically. This is where you go from building for yourself to building for other people. It's about taking on real projects for actual clients and critically becoming reliable and consistent. This is where professional habits are really forged, and you start using more technical tools, each with a very specific professional purpose. You use Replit to code in a standardized environment. You learn GitHub for version control so you can collaborate and roll back mistakes. That's a non-negotiable professional skill. You use Notion to organize your projects and client communication. You use Supabase for basic backend stuff and Vercel to deploy your projects for the whole world to see. Every tool here maps directly to a real-world professional workflow. And finally, we take the big leap to stage three, advanced. At this level, you're no longer just building websites. You're engineering complex, scalable systems. The kinds of questions you're asking are totally different. It's not just, does it work? It's, will it work for 10,000 users? Is it secure? Can another developer understand my code? You're mastering advanced frameworks like Next.js to build fast, production-grade applications. You're using AI assistants like GitHub Copilot to seriously speed up your workflow. You're leveraging advanced features in Supabase for complex databases and authentication. And you're creating sophisticated automations with tools like BotPress. The focus here is all about professional architecture, performance, and building systems that are truly built to last. So, that three-stage map is super powerful. It gives you that 30,000-foot view of the entire journey. But even with a map, you might be standing at the start wondering, okay, but what is the very first step I should take? What do I do today? Because theory is one thing, action is everything. And that's what the skill scaling ladder is all about. It's designed to get you off the sidelines and right into the game. It shrinks that entire journey down to the very first rung on the ladder, an exact, immediate step you can take to start building real momentum right this second. And here it is, your first mission. Your goal is to build 3 simple websites using those stage 1 tools we talked about. But not just any random websites, these 3 specific types, because each one teaches you something completely different. First, a personal portfolio. This teaches you how to market the most important product you'll ever have, yourself. Second, a site for a local business, maybe your favorite coffee shop or bookstore. This teaches you how to listen to a client's needs and translate their vision into a real product. It's like a crash course in communication. And third, a project for a community group you really care about. This is your passion project, and it will teach you how purpose can drive you right through the inevitable frustrations of learning. This isn't just practice. You're building your foundation, your portfolio, and your confidence all at the same time. So that brings us to the end of our roadmap. You now have the right mindset. Mastery is a direction, not a destination. You have the map, the 3-stage path from beginner to advanced. And you have the first concrete step on the ladder, build those 3 starter projects. The only thing left to do is begin. The path from feeling overwhelmed to being a confident builder starts with a single step. Just look around you, your neighborhood, your hobbies, your passions. There is a nonprofit, a club, a cause out there that could use your help. You have the ability to make a real difference right now. So the question isn't if you'll start, but how. What story do you want to tell? What problem do you want to solve? From episode 20, where we're digging into chapter 19 of the amazing book, Coaching Website Development by Zahir Ahmad Mir. We've boiled it all down into a super simple, actionable plan. Let's get right into it. So we've structured this whole thing like a 3-act play, to make it easy to follow. Act 1 is all about building those crucial foundations. And Act 2 will level up to achieving mastery with some more complex stuff. And in the final act, Act 3, it's all about becoming a pro and really forging your career. And the cool part, woven through this entire journey is your secret weapon, the AI supercharger. Okay, let's kick things off with Act 1, Building Foundations. The goal here is really straightforward. We want to get you from knowing basically nothing to launching your very first live app. This isn't about getting stuck in theory, it's about getting your hands dirty and building some real skills, and honestly, some real confidence. These first 3 steps are all about building momentum. You're going to start by redesigning a website that already exists. It's a quick, immediate win. Then you'll learn just enough of the front-end basics, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, to get a handle on how things are structured. And the grand finale of Act 1, deploying your first app for the entire world to see. It's a huge moment. And this, right here, is where AI becomes your superpower. Instead of drowning in some dense technical textbook, you can literally just ask your AI, hey, explain HTML for a 12-year-old with simple examples. Suddenly, AI becomes your personal tutor, breaking down these really complex ideas into stuff that just makes sense. I can't stress this next part enough. This step is a total game changer. Pushing your project live using a service like Vercel or Netlify, wow, it's such a huge psychological win. It's that moment you go from just learning to code to actually being someone who builds and launches things. And that feeling, that's the fuel for the rest of your journey, I promise you. All right, on to Act 2, Achieving Mastery. Now that your confidence is up, it's time to go deeper. We're moving beyond those simple, static pages, and we're going to start building complex, full-stack applications, the kind with real-world dynamic functionality. The heart of any really interesting app is its backend. This is where you'll learn the core concepts, how to actually store and manage data in a database, and how to handle things like user logins. A tool like Supabase is fantastic for this because it simplifies so much of that backend complexity, just letting you focus on building. And once you have these backend skills, a whole new world of possibilities just opens up. You're not just building websites anymore, you're building real applications. You could create a secure login portal, a handy notes app, a system to track attendance, or even an appointment booking platform. These are real, valuable tools that people can use. Now, if you want to truly stand out, you gotta start adding AI features into your projects. This is really the next level. Imagine adding a helpful chatbot with something like Chatbase, creating cool automations with Make, or even building a recommendation engine. This is the stuff that separates a developer who's just competent from one who's truly innovative. Okay, you've built the skills, you built complex apps. Now for the final act, becoming a pro. This is where you make that crucial transition from just coding as a skill to building an actual career. It's all about forging your professional identity. And this requires a critical mindset shift. See, a learner follows tutorials and works on small projects. A professional, on the other hand, masters pro-grade tools and builds what we call signature projects, impressive applications that solve real problems and really showcase their expertise. So, what are these pro tools we're talking about? Well, we mean mastering GitHub for collaborating with teams, using AI assistants like Copilot to write code way faster, and working with advanced frameworks like Next.js to build really robust applications. You'll also want to get into serverless tech like Supabase functions or edge functions. Trust me, these are the tools that companies are actively hiring for right now. And that brings us to your signature project. Think of this as the centerpiece of your portfolio. This is the one project that's going to do the talking for you in an interview. So what's it going to be? A whole school management system, a local business directory, a data-heavy dashboard? This is your chance to build something that really turns heads. And finally, being a pro isn't just about the code you write. It's about building your entire identity. That means creating a polished portfolio website, keeping your LinkedIn profile professional and up to date, and maybe even sharing what you've learned by creating some content. You're not just a coder anymore. You're building a professional brand. Now, we've mentioned AI a few times, but let's put it front and center. Let's talk about the secret weapon that accelerates this entire journey. Your AI supercharger. This is what takes this roadmap and puts it into hyperdrive. The claim here is pretty bold, but it's real. By integrating AI into your workflow, you can grow your skills up to 3 times faster. Yeah, you heard that right, 3x. This isn't about skipping steps. It's about making every single step more efficient so you can keep your momentum sky high. So how exactly does it work? Well, you learn faster because you can ask any question anytime and get an instant answer. You code faster because AI is there completing complex functions for you. You debug faster, getting plain English explanations for your errors instead of cryptic messages. You build faster by having AI generate entire project structures. You even think faster because AI helps you break down the most difficult problems. And here it is, probably the most important takeaway of this entire explainer. Stop thinking of AI as just another tool. Start thinking of it as your personal, always-on mentor. Use it every single day for the big problems and for the tiny little questions. The more you make it a part of your process, the faster you're going to grow. And there you have it. That's the roadmap, a clear, AI-accelerated path to take you from a curious beginner to a confident professional. Your journey doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts right now with one single action. So, we'll leave you with this question. What is the very first question?
All excited, but pretty soon the path gets confusing and it's so easy to get lost. But what if you had a map? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to give you that map, a clear, step-by-step guide to leveling up your skills.
Does this feel familiar at all? You're putting in the time, watching the tutorials, writing the code, but you just feel stuck. You're overwhelmed and you're just not seeing the progress you've hoped for. Believe me, it's a super common roadblock. But today, we're going to replace all that confusion with a clear, actionable roadmap that leads to real, tangible growth.
So let's frame our journey today as a developer's quest. We've got 5 key stages ahead of us. First, we're going to forge our most powerful tool, a super simple daily habit. Then we'll calibrate our internal compass with the right mindset. After that, we'll see some actual proof with a real-world transformation story. Learn how to slay those dragons that stop our progress, and finally, you'll get to chart your own course by designing your own personal growth plan. So let's get this quest started. Okay, our quest begins with our first and honestly most powerful tool. And no, it's not some complicated piece of software or an expensive bootcamp. It's something way simpler, way more accessible, but unbelievably effective: the daily 20-minute habit.
The real power of this framework is its simplicity. This isn't about finding hours and hours in your day. We're talking about just 20 focused minutes. Here's how it breaks down. First, you spend 5 minutes watching a tutorial to get a new concept. Next, you take 5 minutes to ask an AI questions about it. This part is so crucial for making sure you actually get it. And finally, you spend 10 minutes immediately putting what you just learned into practice on one small task. Watch, clarify, apply. It's a complete learning loop, and you can do it in the time it takes to drink a cup of coffee.
And I know what you might be thinking. Only 20 minutes? Really? But this is all about the power of consistency. That small daily investment starts to compound over time. It builds momentum, it creates a real habit, and it leads to massive, undeniable long-term growth. Think of it like this. It's the difference between trying to sprint and getting totally exhausted versus jogging steadily and actually finishing the marathon.
But, a powerful habit is really only half the battle. To truly navigate this journey, you need the right internal compass. This isn't just about what you do, it's all about how you think, and that is the advanced developer mindset.
So, what does this mindset actually look like? Well, the book breaks it down into 4 core qualities. First up, curiosity. Don't just learn how something works, always be asking why it works that way. Second is courage. You've got to step outside your comfort zone and take on projects that scare you just a little bit. That's where the magic happens. Third, consistency. Remember that 20-minute habit we just talked about? Yep, that's consistency in action. And finally, communication. Seriously, the best way to really understand something is to try and explain it to someone else. Share what you learn.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly illustrates the whole idea. You can have all the latest frameworks and the fastest computer in the world, but without the right mindset, that mix of curiosity, courage, and consistency, those tools are basically useless. Your internal approach is what's really going to drive your progress forward.
Okay, so we have the habit and we've got the mindset. But does this path actually work in the real world? Let's look at some proof. This next part shares a really inspiring little story that shows you exactly what's possible when you put these ideas into practice. Let me introduce you to Farhan. At 22 years old, he started this exact journey. Just look at his timeline. In 1 month, he was building simple websites. By month 3, he had launched his first real app online for anyone to see. He just kept leveling up. And by month 5, he'd built a full-stack application, meaning he could handle everything from what the user sees to what happens on the server. The rest of the year, he spent it mastering advanced tools like Next.js and even AI. This wasn't magic. It was just focused, consistent effort, day in and day out. So, what was the result of that 1 year of focused dedication? This. He now earns 280,000 rupees a month building advanced AI apps and giving back by teaching other people. This makes it real, doesn't it? This isn't just some theory. It's a tangible, absolutely life-changing outcome.
Farhan's story is so inspiring, but it wasn't a walk in the park. On any quest, there are going to be dragons you have to slay. And in development, these dragons are the common habits and mindsets that absolutely kill our growth. So, let's figure out how to defeat them. Here are the first two major growth killers. First, there's this temptation to learn everything all at once. React, Vue, Svelte, Angular, it's a trap. The solution? Pick one or two tools and learn them deeply. Mastery is so much better than just knowing a little bit about a lot of things. Second, what do you do when you get confused? The natural urge is to just quit. But the pro move? Ask an AI to explain the concept to you in simple terms. Use it like your own personal tutor to get past those roadblocks.
And let's keep going. A folder just packed with unfinished projects, that's a classic growth killer. The fix is our 20-minute habit. Focus on finishing small things every day to build momentum. Another huge dragon is comparison. Looking at developers with 10 years of experience and feeling terrible about yourself. Don't do it. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. Track your own progress. And finally, waiting for the perfect project or the perfect code will keep you from ever starting. Just build it, ship it, and improve it over time.
So, we've seen the path, we've talked about the mindset, and we know the pitfalls to avoid. Now it's your turn. This final section is all about taking action. It's time to stop just learning about the quest and actually start your own. It's time to design your growth plan.
To make this really work, you have to make it personal. So let's start with two really simple tasks. First, be honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced? There's no wrong answer here. Just know your starting point. Second, based on that level, decide on your next 3 steps. Not 20 steps, just the next 3. This gives you immediate focus and a really clear direction.
And to help you define those steps, here is an incredibly powerful tool. It's like a secret weapon. You can take this exact prompt, copy it, and paste it into your favorite AI. Just fill in the blanks with your current level and where you want to go. It will spit out a customized, step-by-step roadmap for you to follow for the next 2 months. This literally takes all the guesswork out of it.
And finally, we end here. A plan is great, but a plan that's driven by a clear identity, man, that is unstoppable. So I'm going to leave you with these questions to think about. What kind of developer do you want to become? What are you going to build? What specific tools will you master this year? And what's your ultimate goal? Answering these questions defines your mission and turns this quest into your own personal story.